God damn. Welcome to the 6th episode of the Ameen Outspoken Self-Esteem series. We've covered a lot of great topics already, so I hope you'll go and check them out if you haven't already. I hope by now that you've subscribed to the channel or subscribed to one thing or another of mine, so you keep up to date with everything. Most importantly, the mailing list, because that's where I can send you stuff directly and you're not going to miss out on it, and I don't spam, so it's not going to bother you. You're only purely going to get the really important stuff, right? So I want to talk today about comparing ourselves to other people. Okay, it's something that gets a lot of people down. I mean, in anything, whether it's in skills or how we look or whatever, we often compare ourselves to the best in that one quality, right? So when it comes to how we look, we'll only compare ourselves to the best looking people, and that will cause us to feel inferior in that regard. When it comes to how good we are at in our studies, we'll compare ourselves to that top of the class person, making us then feel inferior again. And so that's not what we want to do, because that kind of disregards the whole idea that we're all different. And that person who you look to and then feel inferior, they might be the best at that thing, that one attribute, but they're not the best in all attributes. And that's what we've got to remember, really, is that okay, they're the smartest, but they're not the most kind or the most generous or whatever. So whatever they have that is good in one thing, yeah, that's cool, that's good. You also have something which must exceed them. And so you can't really compare people in just one factor, because we're not made up of one factor. We're complex things, right? Creatures. So we all have different potentials to do different things, and to just exceed and be successful in different ways. Everyone can be successful at something, there is no way you can say, oh, there's just nothing that I can possibly be good at or do well in or whatever it is. Okay, so keep that in mind when looking to other people. Comparing yourself and someone else, or even two people, it's kind of like comparing apples and oranges. They're just not the same thing. You can say I don't know, a green apple and an orange, for example. Oh, I like green and therefore the apple is better. Okay, but what about juiciness? The orange would win on that. Okay, so they're just not the same thing. They have different good things about them for different circumstances, different situations, okay? And in those different situations, they will shine, and they won't shine in others, okay? So keep that in mind. I would say straight up not to compare yourself to other people at all. I have always done this one thing, and it has helped me a lot, and that is to compare myself to my potential best self. Okay, so I did this well in my A levels, and the ideal Ameen could have done that well, and that's how I compare myself, right? So I don't, why am I going to compare myself to someone else who has a different mind to me? They might be slower in certain things. They might be weaker in other things, or better in other things. I'm comparing myself to me, to my best potential me. So I know Ameen is not good at maths. So when Ameen gets a B in maths, Ameen is happy with himself in maths, because Ameen knows that the best potential Ameen would get a B in maths, and therefore he's happy with himself. When Ameen gets a C in English, when he was the best potential Ameen would get an A in English, then Ameen thinks, I really could have done better than that. I'm better than that. I'm better than this C, and I know myself. You know, it's important to know yourself, know your strengths and know your weaknesses, and that's how you compare yourself to your best potential self, right? Because we're all always aiming to be our best potential self. I mean, let's say the prophets were all different people, you know. They were all excellent people, and but they were still different, you know. And so they reached the best potential them. Were they all the same? No, but they still reached the best potential them. So so aim to be the best you can be, and not to be someone else, because you are you in the end, and your aptitudes have been set the way, you know, what we talked about in the second episode. Allah created you, Allah shaped you, Allah formed you in your way, in the best way, and therefore He gave you some strengths, He gave other people some strengths, so we should aim to thrive in those strengths that He gave us, right? So for example, I just want to go into a personal example. Not too long ago, I was doing my dissertation for my master's degree, and it was at a time when I was feeling pretty down, pretty demotivated, but, you know, even though I felt really bad about my ability to do it, like we talked about last time, confidence, my perception of my ability to do it was very low, right? However, I knew that the potential best Ameen could do this, and he could do it well. Okay, and that made me, that changed everything for me, and I would argue that that was the reason I got it done, because I was feeling so down about it. But there were two things that saved me, and that was knowing that the best potential Ameen could do this, and the second thing is that I trusted in Allah, and I expected Allah to help me. Okay, I expected Allah to help me. I expected the best from Allah and from the best potential Ameen to do it. So I wasn't thinking about the other people on my course, how well they were doing. I was thinking about, okay, what is Ameen? Is the best potential Ameen able to do this? Yeah. So what are you doing then? You know, where are you going with this then? So that's basically my message to you for this is, don't compare yourself to others, compare yourself to the best potential you, trust Allah, and expect Him to help you in everything that is done for His sake. And you know, everything we do should and can be for His sake. I'm, you know, this series coming to a close now. I want to do a conclusion next. I hope you're going to share this everywhere you can. I think I've covered some really good points. These are the points really that drove me to improve, and I've seen other people improve through using these methods. So I'd like to hear from you anonymously on the Ask FM or by email or whatever way, how this has helped you. You know, I'd really like to hear from you, yeah? Or tell me why you thought it wasn't as good as it could have been, okay? So, so yeah, don't compare yourself to others. You can be, you know, compare yourself to the best potential you. Strive to be that best potential you. Wassalamu alaikum.